Welcome to DC. You know we're down at the USA Cup. You're taking it slightly, I'm taking it slightly. Now how you throw at them, you won't be right back. Well, we gon' be right here, we gon' be right here. We ain't going nowhere. Welcome to DC.
Hey, this is Hog Farmer Keith of the Hog Farmers Charitable Foundation. And before you listen to Owning the Huddle podcast presented by Red Zone in the Lab, the Hog Farmers Charitable Foundation has put together an awesome program where you can help make a difference in helping us raise money to assist families who are faced with the everyday stresses it takes for their child to battle cancer. How do you do this? Well, we challenge you to become a 2023 Hog Farmer Ambassador. You can check out this information on our website at hogfarmerscharity.org, or you can learn more by heading to our Facebook and or Twitter feeds. The way that you do this is you click the ambassador link, you start your campaign, you set a goal, you reach your audience, and you help raise $250 or more. So who's with us on helping put a smile on the family's face while they go through these tough times?
Welcome back to Owning the Huddle podcast. I am Deuce. We got Breeze. We got DT in the building. What's good, fellas?
Man, you on mute, DC.
For the T. Henry.
What's up, man? What's up? Oh, hang out with that guy too much time to mute myself, man.
What's good, man? We do not know what CeeLo is, man. Like Breeze say, Bryson, we're in the ocean, some hotel in New Mexico or something like that, man. But, we'll see he gonna pop in on that, man. But today, man, we got a banger today, man. We got Tyran Hunt in the building. Former Maryland offensive line, ODU, O-line, eligible for the draft this year. We're going to chop it up with him, man, and talk about the draft process, some of the players, some of his teammates that's also eligible for the draft from Maryland and from ODU. So I'm very interested in that. And we're just going to chop it up about the sale that came out last week about the sale of the Commanders, and now this dude that's coming in like he Frank Lucas with $7 billion cash. We're gonna talk about that a little bit too, man. But this gonna be a little short show. We're gonna go over all of our usual segments because Owning the Huddle is gonna collab with Enters the Lab podcast on Thursday at 7 to do a first round mock draft. So we looking forward to that. Hopefully y'all tune in. It's gonna be live. Just watch out for the link. It's gonna be coming shortly, man. But yeah, man, right on the other side, we're going to get to it.
Welcome to Owning the Huddle podcast presented by Red Zone in the Lab, where we discuss all things Washington Commanders, from the executive and front offices, coaches, players, and fan experience. Join DT, Breeze, CeeLo, and Deuce as they break down the pre- and post games. Do it because you love it and not because it loves you. Hail Commanders!
Welcome back to OTA podcast.
All right, man. Sportico dropped a bomb on us last week, right? Said that is live. You know, Josh Hurst, they got their bid in. The process is starting up. Everyone seems to agree. And in principle, it was at $6 billion.05. I don't even know what's that. So what is that? $6,500,000? Like, I don't even know them numbers, right? The numbers too large for me, man. I don't know what those numbers mean, man. You know what I'm saying? And then you got JP Finley retweeting. You got Sports Illustrated. You got Fox 5. You got all these different places coming out of nowhere confirming this, and then you know what I'm saying. So initially, before we get to the other stuff, the other guy who came like the next day, I mean, we was overjoyed, man. So Breeze, what was that feeling like to be like one step closer, like the final step before the actual step of signing? What was that feeling for you, man?
So again, I'm always the cautious one. So while I was ecstatic about it seemingly being done or headed in that direction, you know, I was always saying, like, you know, I'm not gonna celebrate till the ink is dry and the keys get handed over. You know what I mean? At this point, I feel like that kid on Christmas Day, you know, now Christmas Day is here, right? I'm in front of the tree, but I can't open the gifts till this person gets to the house. Like, I'm just sitting here just waiting. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's driving me crazy, but you know, we We here now. We're here now. So I'm ready for a fresh start, and just want to get it on with, man.
Yeah, I kind of felt the same way. And DT got a little clip on Enters the Lab. He kind of brought that out. He did the closing segment on that, and how everything is kind of felt to him in the fan base, which was really thought out, man. But I was like, Breeze, man, I'm in a space like, look, y'all, just, you know what I'm saying? I'm waiting for the team. I don't care who you are. I don't care what media outlet. I only care if Obama come on TV and say it's done. I need either the Commanders or Raj to put out a statement that the team has been sold. Man, DC, we kind of know how you feel about it, man. But tell the Owning the Huddle podcast listeners how you feel about it.
I mean, like, when you just think about all the stuff we just went through as an organization, and even though it is not officially official, just hearing that someone finally decided, hey, I'm gonna put in the bid in for the Washington franchise, and to hear that all day, and then not only that, like, dude, you were seeing it. You were seeing like a lot of people coming into space that you never seen, never got a chance to hear, and things like that. They just expressed, like, it was arguably one of the best feelings me as a fan to realize how important it is to them to hear some news like this. And eventually, right now, it is actually first and goal right now. It's actually first and goal.
Here we go.
You're seeing you're starting to see
Scott Turner in the OC. We good.
Oh yeah, he'll have us run a whole reverse for no reason. But like, man, just if y'all just down here, I know it's going crazy up there in DMV, but just Virginia itself, past couple of days, I just seen a lot of Redskin gear. There's a lot of Redskin gear I ain't see from people that I never knew that were Redskin fans. So that's an inspiring moment for me. And I know when I go back to work, it's going to be a lot of conversation.
That's crazy, man. Because like while we was in the space, man, we had 54th, hail to the 54th, not one by all. We are the 54th, and we had our space going, and like it was crazy because people that was in was like, hey, look, I just got my tickets. I just got my season tickets. We had like 8 or 9 people confirmed within like 2 hours that bought season tickets just off of the energy that we had going on into that space, man. And it kept going out like throughout the day. Like more and more people kept purchasing season tickets because of this. And the next day we found out, from a source from the day before that 100 new people just by that span for what happened yesterday purchased season tickets. And then today, if you on 50, you ride by 495. They got a big banner that says "Bye Bye Dan." You know what I'm saying? So it's crazy, man.
Man, I want to get it over, bro. Like we had a whole block party. It was a whole block party.
Yeah, it was
on
all
Twitter,
day long. Yeah.
Every 5 minutes, you got a rep tweeting out that this person signed up, or somebody else tweeting out that they didn't sign up. Like I love to see it. I'm happy. Dudes you and after with people that were kind of already on board before news broke, but seeing all the new people in the fold, group chats growing, like I love to see it, but I just need it to be like officially finalized, and I can like party for real, like what I mean?
Speaking of finalized, so Frank Lucas came the next day for $7 billion cash. So Brian Davis, which is a Dookie. That don't even sound right. Dookie. A Duke Blue Devil. Duke Blue Devil said, man, he got $7 billion cash. Right now, I think it's like his bid and his paperwork, financials is right now with Bank of America, but it just seems shady. And right now, Darren Haynes is kind of the only one that kind of brought that information, and DT has a relationship because he was on Ins and Out podcast a month or so back. So I mean, Darren Haynes is very credible, right, DT? So that information we can't take lightly.
Yeah, can't take that lightly. But even though from listening and hearing how this is going, like it just sounds strange. Like, right, like you're going to give $1 billion to Dan, then you're going to try to retrieve the other 6. So what are you going to do? Like, how long is that going to take? Are you going to sell majority of your stakes? Like, how are you going to get that money? Like, to believe you have $7 billion in cash, that's just funny to me. And then you're bidding $1 billion when the team's being sold for $1 million. So it's kind of like it's strictly overpaid, but it just has you thinking a little bit, man. But to its credit, this report came out months ago, right? It came out months ago. The Junkies reported it, and we all know how we are with the Junkies. We kind of 50-50 with them, but this report came out months ago. So it's not really surprising to hear that it come back up, but now it's officially credited with another voice, and that's Darren Hayes. So next couple of days is going to be interesting, but I do believe that the Harris deal is going to be the deal that wins it overall. I just find it hard to believe that you're going to give $7 billion in straight cash to
That's just stupid amounts of money, man. So Bree, he was like, he got $6 billion now, and within 24 hours, and he said like a week later, I have the other $1 billion. Like, what was your first thought when he said that? When you saw that?
I thought it was the other way around. He had $1 billion now, and he'll get the $6. Either way, the details of this pending transaction, whether this offer, maybe however you want to term it, sound like something out of a movie. Like, it legitimately like don't make a whole lot of sense, like real world sense. Me personally, although my blood runs burgundy, these veins are Kentucky blue, so I don't want no Duke Blue Devil nowhere near my football team. But man, if it happened, it happened. But I respect Darren Hayes, and I definitely do take whatever he say with a grain of salt. But at the same time, like, it just don't make a lot of sense. And then also with they saying this person was the mystery bidder. If he's already offered $7 billion, it doesn't make, in theory, it doesn't make sense to me for Dan Snyder to accept the offer, to agree in principle to an offer of 6.02 or 6.2 billion or whatever the Harris Group offer. Like, if I can go get $7 billion, I'm gonna go get $7. Like, it's a lot.
It's crazy, yeah.
And like DT said, ultimately I think the Harris Group will win out, but it's just I don't know what to think, man.
DT, you stupid, yeah. Commander is crazy. You see that Breeze in the chat?
I just saw it. That's a good one.
Said Commander.
All right, man. On the other side of this, we're going to start our interview with Tyran Hunt, man. This is going to be good, man. This is our second college player that we had within the last few weeks, man. He's going to talk about his journey and what is to look for. And it's something to hear these guys that, like, their life is about to change. I mean, like the NFL, like they're going to be on Madden. Like you only have to create yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, you going to be on Madden, man. It's just like I know it's a dream come true. On the other side of this bill that we need to get paid, man, we're gonna bring them up and we're gonna chop it up.
Hi, I'm Christian Miles, native Washingtonian and real estate agent servicing the Washington metropolitan area. I started my career as an investor and later transitioned to the residential side. I really wanted to leave the investor side because I wanted to connect with people. Building relationships is important to me. I understand the buying and selling process can be challenging. I get it. I've been there. I'm a mom, wife, friend, and neighbor. I absolutely love helping families and connecting with people. Going through the home buying and selling process is stressful enough. When working with me, I make it fun. As a realtor, I think it's important to be able to connect with you. Every detail is important, no matter how small. Let me take care of the heavy lifting while you focus on the joys of finding a new home. Something I live by, people may not remember what you said, but they will always remember how you made them feel. With me, it's an experience.
All right, everybody. So this is former Maryland Terp, Old Dominion offensive lineman Tyran Hunt. He is a guy that I know since Southampton High School, the county area. He is from Boykins, Virginia. We go way back. We country boys, man. Very local, very inspiring. So he's trying out, and he just joined, getting ready for the NFL draft. And just want to let him know, man, like the county is pretty excited for you for this moment. Southampton has produced NFL talent, and we can't wait for you to be one of the next ones to put your name embroiled in Southampton High School.
Sure.
Yeah, for sure. Nah, I appreciate that. That means a lot. I mean, like one of the things that's keeping me going right now for real is being able to put on for the small area. Like I feel like if I was doing this just for anybody else, I've accomplished a good amount of accolades to, you know what I mean, just be good enough. But I think having kids coming from our high school, the small area, and having dreams as big as mine, and being able to see and witness somebody who was once in their shoes do some of the things that you want to do, I feel like is an inspiring thing. And, if nobody, I would like to be that guy, that inspiration.
So let's talk about your journey real quick. So you came from Southampton High School, and you literally got an offer scholarship to the University of Maryland. And we all know about Coach Fridge back in the day, the Vernon Davises, Deonte Davises, Jackson played for the San Diego Chargers. You playing out of school with a lot of big NFL names, man, and you got that experience for yourself being a Power 5 school. And I know that was probably a big step for you. Just tell us about that experience for you.
It was big. I mean, I personally didn't even believe, like, it's crazy. Like when I first started playing, I didn't have enough belief in myself to even get the opportunity to go to the next level. As big as I was, and you know what I mean, I didn't have that belief initially. So like to rack up that extended amount of offers that I had, and build as much buzz around my name at the time, that meant the world to me. And I think that really opened my eyes to what what I could accomplish down the road. And so choosing the University of Maryland was like my best bet, and some of the things that I was looking for, academics wise. It's a great spot. DC, being between DC and Baltimore, opportunities are endless. That's just off the field, but on the field at the time, the coaching staff, they had a pretty good system that was very close to what I had been doing in high school, as well as, opportunities to come in and play early. There wasn't much depth in the offensive line room. And I wanted to take advantage of it early. I wanted to get on the field early and make a name for myself and an impact. So that was the best bet for me, and one of my greater college decisions that I made for real.
Okay, so after that, you decided, and this is especially after the COVID year, you decided, hey, maybe I should go transfer back home, get a better opportunity to get some looks in. And you went back to Old Dominion, that's AKA Heineke Town. You actually get an opportunity to start 22 starts at guard, right? So you got some playing time there. And tell us that experience from going to one of the Power 5 schools in the Big Ten to, a Group of 5 school. I mean, Old Dominion. We all know about Old Dominion. A lot of our friends and stuff have graduated there, but now you actually got an opportunity to play for yourself, be a starter, be a leader amongst freshmen and men around you. So what was that experience like, actually getting an opportunity?
I think the opportunity itself was so big for me during my time being there that it kind of overlooked a lot of the we'll use shortcomings, for lack of better words, in comparison to coming from a Power 5 school. Power 5 school obviously has the big facility, you know what I mean, the unlimited gear, and the many perks that you get and take for granted when you go to another school, especially a group of 5 school that doesn't have all of those perks. But I think for what I exchanged from coming from that P5 school with a lot of the like tangible resources, I feel like I was fortunate enough to experience some of the things that every college football player is looking for, the brotherhood, the culture, like a true culture of a football team, and everybody who kind of wants to win, coming from different backgrounds. It's a lot of different guys, and all of y'all are coming together for, one common goal. That the culture and actually getting the opportunity to be a starter. That was one of the reasons why I left the University of Maryland, was just for a better playing opportunity and, to set myself in a position to be where I am now, fortunately enough. So I had to get starts under my belt. And I knew I wouldn't be doing that being a 6th man. So, talked with my coaches at UMD, sat down, talked about it, kind of what I wanted to do and, what mine was. And, the transfer portal came up as one of the options. So, talked my family, prayed about it, and that was the ultimate decision. Coming down to a couple of different schools while I was in the portal. ODU was the one that stood out the most just because of the coaching staff that came there. They were originally at Penn State, and that same Penn State team, I think, put 50 plus points on us when I was at the University of Maryland. So obviously that offensive system works, you know what I mean? And very familiar with a lot of the guys in the area who I played with before in high school. So it was just a good deal, being closer to my people. Family's everything to me. And, there were a couple times they weren't able to make my games in Maryland just because of the distance and the drive. They're getting older now, so it meant the world to me to have them at all my games, So, yeah, made that decision. And I think, like I said originally, the opportunity to, start and get those games under my belt and get that experience was the biggest trade-off for going to a lesser school, quote unquote. And if I had to do it over, I'd do it again.
Yeah. So the transfer portal, amongst the players, like you guys, the players, how important was that rule to be removed or revoked or whatever, that you all have to wait a full year if you enter the portal? Because now you can enter the portal and you'll be eligible to play that same year. How important is that to you all?
I think it's big time. I've I feel like I've been in college football for a long time because I've seen both sides. And a lot of guys, when I first came in, it was kind of just like you were like just going through the motions until you could transfer and get a better opportunity. I've seen guys do it compared to now where, like if things aren't working out, well for you, you can try your luck with the transfer portal and set up a better case scenario for yourself. And I've seen that happen too. I've seen so many different scenarios of how the transfer portal has helped and harmed people. So really, like, there is a lot of upside to the transfer portal, obviously being, a better start and a fresh start. But there is downside to it. I've seen guys who hit the transfer portal looking for a better opportunity, or, just kind of, things got tough at their original school and, they just wanted to switch it up, and it didn't work out in their favor. So, like, it's to each their own, and, everybody's story written a little differently, but yeah, it's major for a lot of guys. I've seen it be a best case scenario. I'm a product of it. And I know many guys who are a product of it as well. So
while you're in the portal, and does the schools reach out to you, or do you reach out to the schools?
Yeah, so it's a two-way street. I feel like once your name hits the portal, a lot of schools see that. I think it was weird for me because obviously when I entered the portal, it was during COVID times, and the rule had just came out that guys were getting a year back, and there were so many like questions on like how that would work with scholarships and stuff like that. So a lot of schools were hesitant at first till those rules developed more. So it was a pretty, I wouldn't say slow, but I wasn't really hearing some of the things I wanted to initially in the portal. But even with that being said, I had 9 teams reach out to me within
That's
like the
crazy.
first
That's good, man.
30 minutes of me hitting the transfer portal.
First 30 minutes? That's
Yeah,
crazy.
it was crazy. Like it was crazy, so crazy. But yeah, I mean it works fast, and it's a long like process in itself, like going through all that again, and it's crazy. But there were some schools that I reached out to first, and they got back with me, and we worked some things out. And then there was a handful of schools that reached out to me first. Some schools that I never heard of, and then some schools that were like, "Oh, okay, all right, y'all interested in the kid? All right, bet."
Yeah, make you feel good. Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, for sure.
Sweet.
Yeah. So I'm sure we'll get into your draft process a little bit. But I was just curious. If I'm not mistaken, you play tackle and guard, right?
Yep, tackle and guard. Yeah.
Okay. So kind of a 2-part question. First of all, first thing would be if you had a preference or like which one would you be more comfortable at, or which one would you be have a preference of playing? And then number 2, if you don't have a preference, because obviously at this point you're trying to get in where you fit, and trust me, I get it. Just explain the difference between playing tackle and guard, as best as you can for people who may not understand.
That's a great
Yeah.
question.
Because
like, not to cut you off, but like you talk to people that like everybody think that just because you tackle you can automatically play guard. Like everybody's not Trent Williams, you know what I'm saying? Like
for sure,
and understand, you a tall guy too, so I know playing guard and not necessarily the easiest thing for guys 6'7", you know what I mean? So
for sure, that's real, that's facts, and I'm glad that y'all, I'm glad that y'all, y'all got that great understanding. I say for me, at Maryland, I was primarily a tackle. It wasn't until going into that 2020 season where I started getting in at guard, they were trying to, fit me in, and I was a rotational guy. So it was like, somebody helmet pop off or somebody went down, I was the next guy up at any of those 4 positions. Wasn't snapping the ball yet at that time, so it was just guard and tackle. And it was tough. It was a tough transition. To answer your question, at tackle, it's like you got to be very light on your feet, but you're also in charge of the depth of the pocket. So it's like being able to be quick on your feet and be athletic to get all the space on screens. You know what I mean? And just I would say it's more like feet oriented and how you move on your feet at tackle. Compared to guard, where it's more in your face right now, like, you know what I mean, hands on. That's where you got to be a little bit more handsy. Not to say that you don't have to be athletic, on your feet, but everything that's happening right now. You got guys like Aaron Donald coming off the line, trying to get up under your shoulder pad. So you got to be able to, sit down, bulls, stuff like that, and you know what I mean. You don't have too much room for error. As you would compared to tackle, because you go too far back, you're in the quarterback's lap. Wow. So those are things like that I have to be cognizant of, switching back and forth between the both. But to answer your initial question, I would say like my strengths allow me to showcase better at guard. And that's kind of like what I found out playing guard in my system at ODU. I love tackle. I love being on that island. Nothing more I love more than being on that island. But I think, for my strengths as an offensive lineman, I showcase them better at guard than tackle.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of teams are starting to move towards, playing guys with tackle experience who may be a little more nimble, a little bigger, longer arms, and playing them at that guard position because it does kind of help. So my next question was, if I'm a GM, if I'm a GM looking to add to my offensive line in 2 weeks at this point, what if I'm looking to call Tyran Hunt, what am I adding to my room if I give Tyran Hunt a call?
Yeah, that's a great question. I would say first and foremost versatility. I feel like you got a lot of guys who say they'll be willing to play different positions and say they can, but it's hard. It's not easy being able to switch between multiple positions, and not even just between guard and tackle, but either side. That's a whole different ball game. Being on the left and the right side, you know, and being able to play to your strengths. So I think that's one of my biggest assets is bringing versatility to your room, as well as, you know, just my mentality to get things done. You know, I've always been a keep my head low kind of grind, you know, guy. And I think that's one of my biggest assets, being able to get the job done by any means. There's been many a times, and it's on my film, where, you know, I may have been in a bad position or, you know, just not in the best position that you want to be as an offensive lineman, but I still gave the play a chance to win because of my athleticism, and my will to just, you know, get the job done. And I think a lot of guys don't have that, especially this day and age. So those are two of my biggest assets that I can guarantee to any GM who decides to take that chance to me the day the draft comes.
I love it. I love it, man. You know, I know at this point, you know, whichever 132 call, you more than happy to take that phone call. But I can
For
think of
sure.
one fairly close to home. You know what I mean? That you can use your services, brother, for sure.
For sure.
So, Tyran, tell us about your draft process right now. So, we all know, you know, you had working with private coaches who have experience with other offensive linemen today in college. You also had the pro days. You also had like little visits and things like that. And you also have to keep your body in shape mentally and physically, making sure you don't have weird tears stuff in your body. So, tell us how that process is so far for you.
It's been amazing. I feel like I've done most of my growth mentally through this draft period. It's a lot of you versus you, and I feel like a lot of people don't realize that. You can get caught up in, you know, the hype behind it, you know, living out your dreams, and that's obviously something that I don't take for granted. You know, I'm fortunate enough to be in this position. And I'm blessed, you know, as a young high school kid, everybody got those, you know, those hoop dreams, that NFL dreams, you know, go to the next level. So being in those conversations with higher up people like these scouts and, you know, even some offensive line coaches and GMs is like, wow, like when you step back, it's like, wow, like I'm really like here, you know what I mean? I think this period for me has been some of my, you know, some of the most mental growth I've been doing it because it's a lot of you versus you. You know, leading up to pro day, it was a lot of training and, you know, a lot of mental toughness, trying to get through different things and work through certain weaknesses in my game at the time. And so now more than ever, leading up to the day, it's a relatively quiet period, where it's just kind of like, you know, you just waiting by the phone. And, you know, you sit down and you have these Zoom calls and meetings with different coaches and staffs and front offices. And that's been experience in itself too as well. But I think overall it's just a lot of quiet time and a lot of like, you know, time to yourself. And you can get lost in that if you're not, you know, in the right headspace, you know. So I think that's been one of my biggest focuses is, you know, focusing on my mental health and you know what I'm saying, just staying ready to go, not wasting any opportunity to get better every day. Like, you know, it's easy during this time when you have nobody, you know, on top of you, making sure you staying on top of stuff. And you can really just do whatever you want. But, you know, at the end of the day, if, you know, you want certain things, you gotta be able to really show that by how you work and how you do things outside of that. So that's kind of where I am now. And it's been nothing but shy of the dream, man.
Man, that's good stuff, man. That's good stuff. We've been hyping you up. Well, now we kind of curious because you play with two teams, man. You went back and forth. You went from College Park, then you went to Norfolk. So let's ask about your Maryland, a couple of your Maryland teammates so far. So we know Jaelyn Duncan, Deonte Banks, Jakorian Bennet, Jakeem Jerry. I'm pretty sure Jakeem came like 2020 when you were and stuff like that. And even Dante Demas and Spencer Anderson. Talk about them guys and how you getting excited for them in this draft process, or what they can provide each individually for a team.
For sure. So what I'll say is, and we talked about this a little bit the other day, but Jaelyn Duncan was one of the guys I was competing for a starting spot with. Now, Jaelyn is a freak of nature. I've seen him in person, And with his size and his ability to be so light-footed is one to none. He's definitely one of the best tackles I've seen in the draft right now. And whoever lands him in the draft will have a gem, really. Rakim is another one of those guys, crazy, freakish athlete, very, very good route runner, for sure. And one of those guys, one of those receivers that'll go up and get it. And I feel like you don't have that with a lot of different guys. Same thing with Dante Demas. He's a very tall, lanky guy, but you leave him out in space, he will go up top of your head. And like,
Yeah.
I think that's a good thing that a lot of people like is his size and his ability to make plays in the air. Jakorian Bennet, he is a crazy, like, and the crazy thing is, it all made sense when I found out that Jakorian was a track star, but he's crazy. And his work ethic is, one to none. Like, he's one of those, like, first guy on the field, last guy off the field kind of guys. It shows in his game. It shows in his game for sure. Like,
That's
he
a wrong type of guy.
he stayed down for sure. His story is one of those things, definitely that's inspiring, bro, especially coming from his background and his schools, and being able to play at a Power 5 and really reap the benefits of it. Deonte is another guy. Deonte is one of those guys, I say he got that dog in him. He got that dog in him for sure. He is gonna get it done, bro. Like, he his eyes over anybody he line up with, and I think that mentality alone is
That's
something
what we
that
need,
other
man.
DBs don't have, bro. Like, you know what I mean? He's not scared to line up with nobody. And it shows in his game, bro. Like, man coverage, he is pressing anybody. So I like Deonte lineup of anybody, and that's a hill I die on. And y'all will see Sundays come from now. You can mark my words. He will be strapping up somebody's favorite receiver very soon. Very soon.
Hey, I don't know you know this, but past couple of mocks, they've been mocking us with Deonte, and then we've been hearing a lot of our insiders talk about, they prefer him at 16 over a lot of the other corners. And like, just the one game that stuck out to me was him and Jakorian went up against Ohio State, and we all know what Ohio State does. They consistently get wide receivers year in, year out, and when you see them go up against those type of guys and do what they did, now they, of course, they're going to get theirs. Ohio State going to get theirs, but what they did against NFL caliber guys, that put on the show on the tape, and them scouts were like, "Hey, this Ohio State game."
Yeah. For sure. Nah, yeah. I mean, Deonte, I've seen him, the way he plays the ball is his biggest deal. I feel like a lot of DBs do a good job of covering, but when it come down to it, it could really come down to how much you've been in the weight room compared to the other guy, and he's strong, bro. He's so strong, and he plays the ball really well. And obviously y'all seen that, so if you do end up at the Commanders, y'all do have a solid DB coming in. I can guarantee that for sure. I've seen it with my own eyes. He's only getting better. So
like, outside of the field, like, how is he in the locker room and off the field?
He's good, bro. Like, Deonte is he is a character, bro. Like, he is a goofball. Like, he's somebody you love to be around. He always dancing. He had this hilarious dance, bro. I had never seen it, bro. But like, any pick he would get, or like anytime we needed like some energy, he would break out that dance, bro. And like, just that type of energy was what was like needed, bro. Because it could get kind of, what I mean? It could get a lot, especially when you're in the dead middle of camp. So he always brought that energy, bro, on and off the field. But he's a great spirit, bro. Great person for sure. And he deserves everything that's happening for him right now. All those guys really, I hold near and dear to my heart, my guys, bro. So everybody deserves what they got coming right now for sure.
And the one guy that has been piquing interest in this area has been Zach Kuntz. I remember we had our conversation on our podcast. I did not know he was a former Penn State guy, so that connection with the coaching staff made a lot of sense. But this guy, he tore up the combine. Dude's about the same size as you, probably like 250, but he's light on his feet. Like he reminds me of Greg Olsen a little bit, the way he runs his route and things like that. That's how smooth he is with his route running. Talk about your boys on so far his draft process. What do you think he can bring to a team?
Zach is my guy. It's funny. I was just with Zach yesterday. I was with him and Nick. Those are my guys, bro. And his story is so inspiring just because it was so very similar to mine. You know, being at Penn State and kind of just getting caught in, you know, the way things pan out. Like a lot of people don't realize, like, you know, just being second string on the depth chart doesn't really show like how much of an athlete you are. And I think he did a good job of showcasing that when he got his opportunity coming to Old Dominion, really turning heads and boosting his stock heavy. That first year, he just fit so perfect in our system. And even the second year leading up to his injury, a lot of people were questioning how he would bounce back. And I think he responded perfectly at the combine coming off that knee injury. You know, being able to, you know, break some of the numbers. I think he got like the highest vert for his height or something like that. Some crazy numbers or something like that. But I mean, just doing all that and coming off a knee injury, bro, like, you know, that's mental, bro. That's all mental. So like that says a lot beyond his athleticism, but just like, you know, who he is as a person and kind of, you know, some of the things that he wants for himself. And very stand-up guy, very he's hilarious, bro. Hilarious, but very stand-up guy, very great football player. I seen him put on weight like when he first came to Old Dominion. He was this tall, lanky tight end, like you know that build, bro. And man, we got that little break off in May, and he came back, man, cut up, bro. Like he had been in the gym, bro, in the gym heavy. So you know, that just says a lot about who he is and, you know, how serious he takes his craft, bro. So another guy I'm excited to see, bro. I'm like, I be trying not to fan out because I know I'm in the process too, but it's like they about to have their, you know, they draft parties. I want to be there cheering for them, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm like, wait, you know, I got to be waiting on the call too, so let me calm down.
Man, I'm dying to know. Back to you. I'm dying to know because every time I get to talk to somebody that's either been through the process or going through the process, I try to ask them. Deuce and I have this opinion about like pro days and combines, and there's somebody who just recently, you know, you ain't got to say too much. I know you're still kind of in the process, but like, what is your opinion on like pro days and combines versus more so scouting, you know, via film, like game film and in person, you know, like the actual game itself versus like, you know, shorts and a t-shirt, you know what I mean, kind of thing.
Yeah, for sure. I think I see both sides with pro day, and here's what I say about that. What I do like about pro day is I like that it's a good way to bring attention. It's a good way to build up your brand. I think for me, pro day was heavy for me because a lot of scouts who may have not seen me or just heard about me, I got to turn heads by, you know, them seeing my size and how I was able to move. And even them having, you know, my weaknesses down on charts, being able to witness with their own eyes that I've been working on some of those weaknesses, I think is crucial in the process for them to, you know, take back and put all together with their assessment with the film. Now, granted, your film is your resume, bro. So like you can go and do these crazy numbers at pro day, but if you know you running the wrong way on zone left, you know what I mean? Like that also is going to be the indicator, and that's going to show at the end of the day. What I do not like about pro day is how some of the tests are. I never understood the concept of the short shuttle, the 20-yard shuttle, the L drill. I get how it showcases your athleticism. I understand how it showcases your athleticism, but there's me. I'm just trying to think from a scout's perspective. I couldn't see myself seeing somebody run that and like, okay, I need them to be on my team. Like that to me, just I don't know. I never understood the concept. But I also acknowledge that it's bigger than me, bro. So
Yeah,
you know,
facts.
if
Facts.
you know, if these GMs and these coaches want me to get out there and run the L
Right, you
drill,
gotta run
I'll
them
do it
jobs.
twice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's
I
right.
feel you. I feel you. As just,
That's right.
me being a former player, being a current coach, like I feel like if you're gonna do it, like the combine thing, which again I get it. Although I feel like the classroom part of it is way more important than the on field part of it as far as
For
combine and
sure.
stuff go. But
For
like
sure.
for you being a lineman, guard, tackle, whichever way you kind of fit in. Like how many times a game you will have to sprint dead, top speed at 40 yards downfield? Like, you know what I mean? Like certain stuff like that, like that doesn't necessarily apply. It's great to see a lineman be able to run 4.7, 4.8, 4, even lower than that. But like, how often would somebody have to do that? And then to hold that against that player, like you see me blocking people. Don't nobody touch my quarterback or running back on game day, but you're gonna hold this. You're gonna hold this 5-1 against me. Like, come on, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just little stuff like that, man. I just
and it's much more. It is much more deeper. I feel like than just like that to the situation. I feel like some of my most intense moments from this process haven't been physically. It's been more mentally, especially when you have these sit downs with GMs and coaches and stuff, and you breaking down film and they're showing plays, and you got to really be able to talk football. You got to know what you talk about in there with those guys because they do it for a living. Some of these guys been in this game for 30 plus years, so you got to really know what you're talking about and be confident in how you're talking about the game. So that was one of my biggest intensities throughout this whole process as well, being able to talk ball with some well-known coaches.
Yeah, that's the thing that when it comes to the combine and pro day, that I think that is very important. Like that part of it, the interviews, meeting the coaches one-on-ones. And a lot of these coaches is just getting back out there from COVID and doing virtual and different things like that. So, and like you say, breaking down film and this and that. Because man, look, you could be off as a tackle, you can run a full as a tackle. But on film, if you can't get out there, get that corner on that screen, what good is it?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So that's and DT loves.
Can you identify the 3-man rotation in the secondary?
Right.
You know what I mean? Can you pick up a Will or a Fire Sam blitz? Like, those are the things they really want to know before they take that chance and call your name on draft day. So
yeah, most definitely. See, you look at DT. He ain't handing it. Like, look, he ain't handing it.
You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I said, we've all coached and played and been fans of the game. Like we've all seen dudes that could go on the field and do everything you ask them, but you put them in a classroom, they don't know a lick about actual football. They can't break down coverage, they can't break down this blocking scheme, or they can't do it. And I feel it's weird. Trust me, I'm with Deuce on the side of like I hate the majority of like combine and pro day things, but there are parts of it that definitely apply to it. It's just I think they just go about it the wrong way. Me personally,
for sure.
Was there one last question? Was it? I know you said kind of the meeting part of it was a little tough. Was there any other part, or maybe expound on that a little bit as far as like what anything was maybe a little bit overwhelming for you through the process, if anything?
Yeah, I mean, really, it's just, I mean, honestly, the overall concept is like you don't really know. You have an idea of who's interested and who likes you, and kind of the range of where your draft stock is, but you never really know until the day comes. And I think that's a beautiful aspect of it, is what I mean, like how it can pan out. But like there's also like the ugly side to it is like what I mean, you can go undrafted, or you can what I mean, like it's so many variables and factors that play into it that are over my head. And I think that's the most overwhelming aspect of it is at this point now it's just really up to getting one team to like you a lot. So that's the biggest thing that has been for me. And like I said, with the sitting down and talking football, especially with my position, you got to be able to think on your toes and be quick with these responses. You get in here with some of these scouts and some of these coaches. You know, they'll draw up a couple of their plays, you know, and then it'll be serious stuff like, and you got to be able to, you know, spit that information back out to them. You know what I mean? Like you've been in the system for 2-3 years, and it's it can be a lot if that's not your deal or your speed. You know, I was fortunate enough to, you know, get some of the experience that I got to be able to do stuff like that. But you know, I could see how some guys get lost in it all, really, for sure.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I got one more for me. So we know they asking you all the questions, you know, film, this, and that. Do you all have an opportunity to ask them questions about their philosophy, their scheme, their vision, their culture? Do you all have the opportunity to do that?
Definitely, no, most definitely. I think a lot of the coaches, you know, I want to know, you know, what kind of people they are. You know what I mean? So, some of the questions that I've asked coaches, and even GMs and scouts, like I've asked them, you know, what kind of got you into your field of profession? You know what I mean? What motivates you every day to get up and, you know, go after it and do some of the things that you do. You know, with coaches asking them what, you know, their philosophies are, you know, what their what are the hills that they're willing to die on in terms of technique, and then, you know, some of their biggest no-nos in your game. And, you know, I take note of those things and you know, put it in comparison to my game. You got to be mindful of that stuff, you know what I mean? Like when you're in the, obviously if you get drafted, you don't have much leeway to you know, choose where you want to go. But, you know,
So you saying, nah, y'all got that terrible owner, I ain't coming in. You can't say that. Don't answer. You
don't get the liberty and justice to make those calls. But, you know, when you're one of the later round guys, like, you know, the 6th and 7th round guys to priority free agent guys, you do get the luxury of being able to choose between you know, a certain amount of teams. So me being in that position, you know, I take account of some of these things that the coaches tell me about, you know, their technique and stuff and how that lines up with my game. So, you know, when the day comes, if I do get the opportunity to pick out of these teams or X amount of teams, I can really make the best pick for me and, you know, my future and my opportunity. So just trying to make the best of it.
Yeah, man. But before DT closes us out, man, just, you know, coming from me, man, I want to say, you know, I'm rooting for you draft weekend. You know, it's one team in specific that I hope you know, you get a 703 phone call. Yeah. But yeah, man, you know, I feel like you put forward the best.
He's just trying to be their wide receiver coach. He's trying to find
I am
any way he can to get in that building and be their wide receiver coach.
For sure. But man, you know, I feel like you put your best foot forward through the process. You know, at this point, man, worry about what you can control and let everything else sort itself out, brother. And hopefully, you know, you got a new home, you know, in a few weeks, man.
Yeah, man, definitely appreciate you, man, coming. I'm definitely going to have your name next to me to see where you do end up, man.
For sure. No, I appreciate y'all fellas. I love this, you know, setup. I love the podcast. Y'all just give me something to add to my podcast that I can listen to on a daily basis. So I appreciate y'all fellas, bro. And, you know, y'all keep it up, bro. This has been a great experience for me today.
Yes, sir, for sure.
All right, man. You already know how it go, bro. Like, you're my boy. You played with my brother in high school, and excited for this journey. Even no matter what happens, Southampton County's rooting for you, bro. You entrench your name. You establish a culture within ourselves. And even I seen a picture with you with Coach Parker and Coach Scott and Coach Xavier. And you talking to the young cats. Them cats I talk to every day, they drive me crazy. But see a guy like you try and pursue your dream, and that's motivation for them because they know that they can make it out of Southampton County. There's more life to than Southampton County. Trust me, I have that experience for myself, but I'm waiting for your name to be called one way or the other, bro. And I can't wait to take a picture of you, whatever team you're on, and have you on the podcast again. We talk, bro.
For sure.
With that being said, this is my boy Tyran Hunt, man.
Most
Love.
definitely appreciate you, man.
Salute,
Appreciate you
bro.
for
Salute.
coming. Appreciate all of you out there for watching. Appreciate you for listening. Remember, do it because you love it, not because it loves you. One beat, one sound, one heart, one love.
Thank you for listening to Owning the Huddle podcast. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel at Red Zone in the Lab and follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. You can download our podcast wherever you get your podcasts and visit us at redzoneinthelab.com.